Greetings, humans. It's me, Bob Harris, Senior Editor of FootballDiehards.com. It's time for the Week 16 injury review, preview, update, overview thing we like to do every week. Weird week, right? It's championship week, number one. Kudos to everyone who's there. Also, all you DFS players. You'll be with us throughout the postseason, and we will continue through the postseason, providing content mostly for postseason tournaments and DFS players. But it's Week 16, so we got injuries. Of course, we got a Saturday slate. It's about to get started with the Buccaneers taking on the Houston Texans in Tampa Bay. Jameis Winston's active. There is, of course, no Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, or Scott Miller. Rashad Perriman steps up. Justin Watson steps up. I think beyond that, you're taking your chances. The tight ends seem like viable plays. It'll probably be over by the time you're watching this, and so I won't dwell too much on these Saturday games. On the other side of the football, Will Fuller and Carlos Hyde both active. The Saturday midday game, the Buffalo Bills at New England. Julian Edelman listed as questionable, expected to play if you haven't read the updates. The recent reporting is, and if you watched last week's game, Edelman did not look great, did not look like he was moving well, looked like the shoulder was an issue, reaching for passes, etc. The reporting from New England is he looks better in practice this week, so maybe we can hope for a little more. Still a tough matchup though, right? On the other side of the ball, everyone's good to go. In the Saturday night affair, all the key skill players for both sides are good to go, except Greg Zuerlein, Greg the Leg, Rams kicker. The reporting Saturday morning is he will kick. They tried out Brett Maher, the former Cowboy. They did not sign him. They did not make a move. So they obviously expect Zuerlein to kick despite the questionable designation. So good luck on those Saturday games. Should be an exciting day of football. Let's get into Sunday. So if you're watching Sunday morning, ignore all that and get onto this part. The early afternoon window, and we'll go through chronological order like we always do so you understand your fallback options. We'll start in Jacksonville at Atlanta. DJ Chark listed as questionable. Sounds like he's going to give it a go. He practiced on a limited basis all week. Doug Marrone said on Friday that he expected him to play. My SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio co-host Mike Dempsey, who covers the Jags on a daily basis at a local radio station there, reminds people that Chark is like 44 yards away from a 1,000-yard season. That's a pretty big deal for players to hit those marks, and maybe if he hits it, he goes. But either way, he'll need to be active to do that, and we'll see how that plays out. The New York Jets hosting the Pittsburgh Steelers. Robbie Anderson listed as questionable with an illness. Seems like he's going to play. Back at practice Friday. They sent him home Thursday. So unless we hear something untoward today, expect him to play. Bilal Powell seems truly questionable with an ankle injury. Demaryius Thomas listed as doubtful, dealing with the ongoing knee and hamstring issues. That injury sidelined him last week. On the other side of the ball, Steelers, Juju Smith-Schuster off the injury report. He says he's not 100%, but they have removed him from the injury report. So you kind of got to treat him like he is. Don't know that I need to be forcing him into any lineups. James Conner got in a full week of practice as well. He's good to go too, as is Vance McDonald. New York Giants at Washington. Daniel Jones back as the quarterback coming off the ankle sprain. We saw Eli Manning for a couple weeks, and that may be the end of him, assuming Jones remains in the locked and upright position. We hope that's the case. Red Elson's been ruled out. Evan Ingram, of course, placed on IR, season-ending foot injury. He will have surgery, it sounds like. So there's that, and we'll be watching him all off-season long. For the Redskins, everyone's good to go, so play him if you got him. It's a pretty good matchup, and the Giants' defense not all that great. And Dwayne Haskins coming off a good game. The Carolina Panthers at Indianapolis for the Colts. T.Y. Hilton off the injury report, worked fully all week. That's a good sign. Made it through last week's game without any issue. Also, the Colts made it through that game without a lot of offense. This should change in this one. Marlon Mack's in a good position with the Panthers' run defense, struggling to stop anybody. For the Panthers, Will Grier gets to start a quarterback. The Kyle Allen experiment is, at least for now, ended. We've seen a lot of turnovers in recent games, so they're going to give Grier a shot, see what they have in the rookie. Makes perfect sense. Curtis Samuel listed as questionable with a knee issue. He did not practice Friday. The local observers seem to think that he will play. That's one you'll need to watch. Don't know what we're going to get from him or DJ Moore for that matter. I mean, pretty sort of safe to say Christian McCaffrey will be busy, but don't know what Grier has, but he was a prolific passer in college, so we can hang our hat on that. Cleveland Browns taking on the Baltimore Ravens in Cleveland. Dontrell Hilliard, the only guy on the injury report for really either team of the skill players, and he's kind of been relegated to special teams work the last few games, especially since Kareem Hunt's come back. So no worries there. Odell Beckham, Jarvis Landry. Some talk that Jarvis Landry will need off-season surgery, as well as Beckham. Hip for Landry, groin for Beckham. We'll see how that plays out. But they're off the injury report on Friday, as they have been most weeks. And there's the dysfunction has been a bigger issue for the Browns than that. Of course, on the other side of football, Lamar Jackson, really good. Keep playing him. Mark Ingram, everyone's healthy there, so good to go. Moving into the late afternoon window, Josh Jacobs has been ruled out by the Raiders. DeAndre Washington, Jalen Richard will continue to fill in for him, with Washington playing the lead role. Very successful at that 2 weeks ago when Jacobs was last out. The Chargers, everyone's good to go. Detroit Lions at Denver. Bo Scarborough is questionable with the same rib injury that sidelined him last week. We may get Kerryon Johnson. Watch the main page of the site. If they're going to play Kerryon Johnson, they need to activate him. I think it's by 4 p.m. Eastern time. So we'll have an update up on that. Whether they do or don't, we'll get news and know. The talk is Matt Patricia, head coach, said basically would Kerryon Johnson be limited if he plays, and to some degree, you'd think he'd have to be. First week back after a lengthy stint on IR, it's hard to imagine him coming back and handling a full workload. Some of that may be dependent on Scarborough, but they also have Ty Johnson, J.D. McKissick, so there are other bodies there available. But we'll be watching for Kerryon Johnson all along. Not looking to force Kerryon Johnson in lineups, but if there's an emergency and he's there, I can think of more horrible things. Noah Fant on the other side of the ball, listed as questionable with shoulder injury and illness. The shoulder injury is why it's questionable. A lot of people with the Broncos dealing with illnesses, including Drew Lock. He has no injury designation because of it. Didn't miss any practice time, but that's been going around. The Arizona Cardinals are at Seattle. Christian Kirk is considered a game-time decision. Look, it's a favorable matchup for him. Favorable matchups on both sides of the ball in this one, obviously, especially for Seattle's passing attack and rushing game. But same for the Cardinals. If Kirk's going, we'll see how it goes. It's a lingering ankle issue. He's missed 3 games earlier this season, so I'm not trying to force him in lineups. Again, favorable matchup, but you're going to have to be late afternoon kickoff. Kind of complicates matters for me. The Philadelphia Eagles hosting the Dallas Cowboys. Dak Prescott off the injury report completely. Worked on a limited basis all week. Has a injured throwing shoulder. That's not good, but it's a great matchup. He's off the injury report. This is a matter of, your own risk tolerance, how you feel. I think he's a high-end option, so maybe you look at your range of options. If you have another high-end option or an option you feel is in the same range, a quarterback one option, maybe Ryan Tannehill, even in a tough matchup, you feel comfortable with his production, maybe you go with the healthier guy. If you have a lower-end option, and you don't feel comfortable playing that guy, then stick with Dak. Again, off the injury report, we can beat that to death, but it is what it is. On the other side of the ball, Jordan Howard is listed as questionable. Nelson Aguilar listed as questionable. Don't expect either to play. Expect the status quo to remain. We haven't heard that Howard's been cleared for contact yet. Worked on a limited basis all week. Nelson Aguilar did not work at all this week, and Doug Peterson, head coach there, talked on Friday about the possibility of shutting him down for the season. Sunday Night Football, Chicago hosting the Kansas City Chiefs. Everyone's good to go there. Damian Williams off the injury report. For the Chiefs, Pat Mahomes fine, Tyreek Hill fine, everybody practiced fully. Other side of the ball, everyone's good too, except Taylor Gabriel's been ruled out with the same concussion. I think it's cost him 3 or 4 games now. So good news for Anthony Miller and Allen Robinson is more looks for them, and they'll need them. It's a tough matchup for them, but they've been very busy, and Mitch Trubisky's been playing well the last 3 weeks. Monday Night Football gets even trickier. Dalvin Cook's team's unlikely to play. Has the 2 shoulder injuries, has not practiced this week. Just getting reports from the Saturday practice, and here's where it gets complicated. Alexander Mattison, the rookie running back, has a high ankle sprain. Had not practiced until today. He got on the practice field. The reporting this morning, Tom Pelissero from NFL Network suggesting that maybe Mattison, they'll carry this out, put a questionable designation on him. I'll have that on the main page of the site. Either way, it seems like Mike Boone is going to be the primary running back unless Mattison heals. And look, he gets an extra day of treatment and everything because of Monday night. And so that's going to be your decision. Do you play Boone this weekend before Monday night, not knowing Madison's outcome? I mean, it's going to depend again on your range of options. But that's where we're at. We'll know a little later this Saturday. Watch the main page of the site, the late breaking update section. I'll have his actual injury designation. Maybe they do us a favor and rule Madison and Cook both out in advance of the game today, and that would be great news for Boone owners. I will remind you, Amir Abdullah is still there and probably chip in as a receiver. On the other side of the ball, Jimmy Graham's dealing with a wrist injury. Was limited early in the week. Expect him to play as usual and not be as productive as we would like. There you have it. Just want to wish you all good luck again. And again, we'll do regular content next week. I know it's week 17. A lot of you will be done with your season long. We'll be working on season long. Some people have 2-week championships. We'll take care of that. In the meantime, tons of content up on the site. All the usual suspects are there. Myself, Bobby Gomes, Kyle Dvorak, Brad Cruz, John Lobb, Evan Tarciano, Gary Davenport, Mike Valverde. I probably left somebody out and they'll be angry, but no, another one. But anyhow, so tons of stuff, tons of content, video, audio. Check the live video Sunday morning. If you're watching this Saturday, Bobby Gomes and Kyle Dvorak will be on doing final roster tweaks at 9 a.m. Eastern. You can ask them questions. They will give you answers. And I'll be on SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio doing the pregame show with Jeff Mann, so listen to that as well. Listen to Football Diehards every day on SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio, 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern. Saturday nights we're on NFL Radio, 8 p.m., except this week. We just got done. We were on early today, so before the pregame. So enjoy the games today, people. Good luck in your championships. Hope it's been a great season for you. And for those of you who want to continue on playing in the postseason tournaments and DFS, we'll have something for you. See you then.